Well, hello again, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend and ready for the fresh new week. Well, we certainly are here on Ara, Aquarius Rising Africa. And yeah, getting a great start to the week with our beautiful guest, Alley Scheidel. And yeah, part two of our story together. So I look forward to hearing more about her journey as an ex model in the fashion industry, getting involved with all sorts of dodgy characters, dealt with addictions. We spoke about that in the last episode. So if you haven't seen Ellie's previous show, it will definitely be in the chat. Hello, Tara. Thank you. And yeah. And then just before we bring Ellie on, let's just go through some of the um, announcements for the week. But welcome, everybody. Lovely to see you all here again. And to my beautiful wenches with wrenches, totally appreciate you all being here. And I see there's a congratulations in order for Charmaine, one of the wench. She's a wench with a wrench, yes. Arrival of a new great grandbaby. It's amazing. Just spoke to my granddaughter literally minutes before this. And we have matching hair dryers. So we were sending pics of the hair dryers. Beautiful. Anyway, let's chat about the rest of the week. So obviously tonight we have the lovely Ali, which is usually the Monday when Beverly Rhodes joins me, but she's traveling today on her way to the United States of America. So, you guys, if any of you want to hook up with Beverly, possibly while she's there, you know where her details are. Just check in the shows that I do with her. It's all her details are there. And then Wednesday, of course, Double Trouble with Jesse again. Lovely. Thursday, Dr. Dennis. And then Friday, new guest, Holly Baglio will be joining us on Friday, same time as what I am now, 6 p.m. Central African time. And she's also a survivor of the Montauk Project, secret space programs, MK Ultra, part of the splicing programs that they had. Wow, very interesting guest. So join us on Friday with Holly Baglio. Then, of course, Saturday, Jerry Mozinski. Got to always laugh when I mention Jerry Mozinski's name. He's back with us on Saturday again, 6 o'clock as well. And then Sunday, 3 o'clock, Central Africa time, Patreon Book Club with Jesse. And then, of course, Sunday Loop at 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Hope you guys have been enjoying the Sunday Loop. It's a replay of our older shows, but actually were the ones that were first on Solutions that we carrying over to Aquarius Rising now, because new things happening on Solutions. Watch the space. And of course, just reruns of the old shows, because so many people are asking questions. We have so many new viewers. And of course, with the channel being struck and everything, there's, I know, definitely new people, and often being asked about a lot of the guests and our survivors' beginnings and how did it begin, and this, and all their stories are in there. So it's nice for us to catch up as well. Anyway, and I think, oh yeah, yesterday, if you missed yesterday as well, Fiona Barnett was on, always getting lots of questions about Fiona. And in fact, that was the last interview Fiona ever did. She has not done any interviews after that. So great. I mean, I love Fiona. She's just got a spirit that's incorrigible. Anyway, without any further ado, let's bring on our beautiful guest for the evening. Ta-da! The lovely Alley Scheidel. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Am I speaking loud enough? My voice
I
is a
can
little.
hear you now, yes, but
Yes.
yeah. I can hear. Just from the viewers, well, just make sure you guys can hear. I can hear clearly, but maybe it's a volume thing as well.
Yeah.
So nice to see you all. Hello, girl.
My voice is just really soft today, so I hope you guys can pick up on it. Yes. Hello. Thanks for having me again.
How are you doing? How's it been going since the last? Yeah, you're welcome. It's a great pleasure to have you. Do we have a lag? I think we have a lag. I hope I'm not talking over you. Anyway, usually settles in the internet. Yeah. So, Ali, tell us how it's been going. I mean, I know you've had an interesting journey as well, because with your previous show with us a couple of months back now, that was the first time you actually shared your story publicly. So, how was that for you, actually? And how's it been for you since then, just as a preface to the rest of your story?
It was good. It's been a ride since. As many survivors who watch this will concur with me. This may be confirming to some people. I didn't realize how much sharing that part of my story was going to shift my life. It shifted everything. Like, I'm in a whole different reality now. Good reality. Very good reality. But sharing my story with that warlock, I didn't realize, I don't know if it was a curse. It was definitely something, not to put a name on it, that was completely shattered in me. So then I was then given my sight back to see abuse that existed in my life. So there were people that got shifted out of my life very quickly. And now I'm on a whole entire different timeline, just from that stuff getting out into the world. And God knows who it helped. I trust that all of that just came right back to me too, and it just all added. So it blew my mind, honestly.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, it's things like this that we always say. When we shine light on the dark, it has no option but to either scurry off back into the dark like a little cockroach, or to expose itself and reveal, right? So I think that's been an amazing shift for you just by sharing. And this is why I love what we do on this channel, is when we speak to the survivors. And again, you know, I've spoken to so many people, and I want to reiterate this just for our viewers out there as well. I speak to so many people behind the scenes as well who think their story is not worthy of being told or being heard, or their voice is not prominent enough because they haven't experienced something as horrific as SRA. But that's not true. Every person's story has the ability to shift and repattern something within yourself. And as you repattern something in yourself, so that shift automatically would go out and extend to those in your vicinity or vibration, the world, right? It's like a knock-on effect. So it's really good to hear that it's had that positive effect. But we will go back there if you're willing and able. But I just want to maybe go back to the beginning. Maybe you can just give a preface again, an outline on what your story was, just for those who haven't watched our previous shows. So give us a little synopsis. You speak about the warlock. I think a lot of people's ears prick up when they hear that word, because it's quite a daunting character to be involved with. But nonetheless, you have absolutely transcended that, which is amazing. So yeah, share with us that bit again.
Yeah, my life, as many people who come on the show, we have pretty wild lives. I used to model, as it says on the title. And one place where my career took me is Greece. I traveled other places, but this is where I met the Warlock. And this is also when I began to wake up. I had an awakening in the shower. I was bulimic before. In the shower, I had this voice, source, God, speak to me and be like, you are so much more. You have no idea what this is holding you back from. That day, bulimia left me completely. And I woke up and I had this new life. I was so grateful. I was young. I was 20, but I looked like I was 15. I've always looked young for my age, but then I literally just got younger. There's no way you can get younger at age 20, but I did. And it was like this. But that's when they send them. Because I wasn't really cognizant. I didn't really have the discernment yet because I was this new baby. Oh, everybody's amazing and light and love, and no, it's not. And because of my naivety, I got entangled with this warlock who said all the right things. He tapped into my dreams, tapped into my frequency, tapped into my field. He can do what us empaths do, but he was not doing it for good reasons, obviously. And, you know, me being a new awakened little spirit, I was enthralled. He taught me how to do things, and little did I know that the power that I was being given through him was actually a demonic power, and it was sucking the life out of me. He came to siphon me, and more details about that I've had revelation on since I did the show, which I don't think I'm able to share right now. But wild ride. That was how I met the Warlock. And I eventually got addicted to heroin with him. That's the way that these warlocks, I met a witch at the gym, like maybe 6 months ago. She was a pagan Nordic witch. Really sweet lady. I told her about that and what happened. And she said, that's what these warlocks do. They'll find young, beautiful women, trick them, and then siphon. Then they'll get them addicted to drugs so they don't leave. And whenever I tried to leave, right, I would feel the sickness, but then he would take that and say, oh, it's because you don't have me. It's because you left me and we're two halves of a whole. And you just can't. And I was sick because I wasn't getting my fix. But he used it, that hook. I didn't even know it was heroin. That's the crazy part. It's like, but
what do you mean? You didn't know it was heroin? How does that happen?
Opium. Because he got it from the Afghanis on the street in Greece. Because you can just get anything in Greece. Like, if anybody's been to Athens, it is the 13th most dangerous city in the entire world. I'm walking around crop top, little booty shorts at night, oblivious, completely oblivious. I was so protected. And that's kind of what the basis of what I want to bring up about on the show is, like, how these people in the industry and how people like that warlock, because it's not just warlocks that do this, it's like anybody. It could be a photographer, it could be anything, casting director, agent, and how they take advantage of naive people. Doesn't matter how old you are. They'll find their hooks and they'll work their magic on you. Literally magic on you. And then they'll get you to do crazy stuff that you never thought that you'd be able to do, that you would ever do. So I guess I probably painted a really good picture for where I was at mentally with my description of the Warlock story. I was open, wide open. I'm in Greece. Everything's amazing. Not everything that glistens is gold. that's that. Oh no, I can't hear you.
It's me muting myself again. I was just saying, and that's very true, because when you're saying about what not everything that glistens is gold, and especially when the gold is very bling. The more bling the gold is, the more you got to run from, because that's really fake. So, but they know for sure how to turn on the charm, right? And totally spin that web of deception, that web of illusion, and to get vulnerable young women, and especially in the modeling industry. Again, a couple of weeks back, we were speaking to Juliette Bryant, who's an ex-South African model. And she also, when she was 20, that's when she was lured in by Epstein. But they tried when she was 14. So, and that whole seductive way that they pry, and they really prey on the girl's weaknesses, which is they seem to know exactly what they are. They seem to have a sixth sense. They can smell them out, yeah?
Oh, they're predators. They've been doing it for life. They're trained. Right. I would say they're probably possessed, most likely, because it's like some of these people that I would meet, especially in the industry, they have a way of just getting you to do things. And it feels like a spell that they put on you, because they see your innocence. They see your desire to make something of yourself. They see your inadequacies. Like, empaths can see the good in people. They can see their struggles. Same thing. These people should not be allowed to have these abilities, but they do. So, whatever. They teach us. They're here to teach us. Because I will say, I know this is very vulnerable for me to say right now, but I feel called to say this. After the last show, I had somebody reach out to me. And I'm saying this to warn any other survivor that speaks on this show. Watch out for people that come as wolves in sheep's clothing. Because somebody tried to do the same damn thing to me that Warlock did to me, but in a different way. Because they heard the story, they saw my weaknesses, they saw the different holes and cracks in my field as I was speaking. And they used all of that, and they tried to use it on me. I talked to you about it, and like, you helped open my eyes a little bit, and God showed me things, and I was like, whoa. And God's like, do you see how easy it is? Do you see? Like, so yeah, I just say, like, whatever anybody believes in, whatever your faith is, sit in silence before you make decisions on any person, anything that you do, and let the answers come to you.
Yeah.
You know? Because, man, these people are wild out here.
Discernment.
They don't care. Yes.
If we go back to the beginning, when did you start? How old were you when you started modeling?
17 or 16. I did it just around my hometown. Yeah. When I started, I just did like shoots. Oh, is there a lag again?
Yeah, carry on, talk.
It doesn't really matter what I was gonna say. I was just gonna give a little bit of depth of like how it started. I started by just reaching out to random photographers. I would go on Craigslist. I was dumb, but you learn, you know? I would eventually, once I started putting more of my work out, I would get reached out to by different photographers in Detroit, and they would want to shoot with me. So it was just building until somebody.
Did you find that any one of the photographers that you worked with were trying to maybe groom you in any way when you were sort of at the beginning stages? How did that go for you? Because I ask that because I think it's so important for young women, young models getting into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've heard a lot about this stuff in the past. So I understand there's obviously legitimate agencies around, but there's as many dodgy ones at the same time. So when we're looking at that, you know, what was your experience and what would you say, for example, just on that note, what young people should be looking out for? Because it's very flattering when a young girl walks around just in a shopping center, going to the movies, and she's approached by a model scout, right? And suddenly it's very flattering for that young girl. And these guys obviously know exactly what buttons to push. And I think if that child does not have a strong parental unit that can guide them, that's very troublesome, my opinion. That's where it begins.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely like to find people with negligent parents. But so a lot of the photographers around my state, a lot of them couldn't wait till I turned 18 so I could do topless shoots. Because that's what everybody likes to do here. They're just like, yeah, just take your top off. It's like nothing. Like, oh, just change in front of me. It's okay. It's like, it's so normalized for models to get nude around photographers that, I mean, that's the industry. But that, see, it's normalized. It's like at fashion shows, you'll see getting stripped naked, but it's like you have to because it's quick change. But locally, with a 17-year-old girl, you can feel their little slimy, creepy little fingers like, ooh, I can't wait till she turns 18. I had somebody tell me about a photographer I worked with that was talking to another photographer that called me a prude because I always had my mom with me and I would never loosen up a little bit. And I never shot with him ever again. There was another photographer. Actually, no. It's not so much photographers that I want to highlight right now because, like, no, never mind. God's bringing one to me right now. So there was another guy. I feel like I could say his name, David Birdsong. This guy, I swear, he is, what's the word? A predator. This dude, I got to the point to where I started shooting nude because I was convinced that, like, oh, all the top models do it, so why don't you do it? See, like, naive mind. And this guy did a shoot with me, and God, you take my thoughts and words right now. He did a shoot with me, and he posted the photos online, and he told me, hey, I do workshops with other photographers. They come, they pay me. They pay you, they give you a lump sum for shooting you, and it's all good and fine and dandy. Then you can make money from your modeling. The photo he effing put online of me had a shot of so these motherfuckers, sorry for lack of better terms, these mother effers who came, they, like, David Birdsong did not tell me that I was going to do a nude shoot. First of all, I did not know. 8 men, they're all men. Of course they're men. 8 photographer men came to shoot. They all brought their stupid cameras. There was one guy who had a stupid point and shoot camera. Homeboy didn't even come to freaking photograph me. He's going to go jack off. That guy was the one that asked me to bend down in front of him with my butt in front of his face. And I didn't. But the whole entire time I was naked because I didn't know what to do. Because in my mind, David's like putting all of this pressure on me. Like, hey, you came here, you signed up for this, you got to follow through. Like, what are you going to do when you're at another shoot? This is what they do. They guilt you because they'll prey upon your desire for a career. And then they'll be like, well, if you can't do this, then how are you going to be able to strip nude in a runway show? How are you going to be able to shoot with these big photographers if they have you do quick changes on set? You need to be comfortable being naked around people. It's part of the modeling job. You're a body selling things. So I did it. And I left my body the whole time. I was so disassociated. And the entire effing time, I knew what they were doing because I can feel it. But I felt frozen inside of myself. And I never shot with him again after that. And I met this other photographer, Christian O'Grady. I will talk big name about him all day. Christian O'Grady he helped me build my port. He helped me get out of the nude bullcrap and start actually being a fashion model. So I just give a shout out to him. He's probably not going to see this, but I'm very extremely grateful from the bottom of my heart for him. He's the one that saw bulimia in me. And I just want to thank you, Christian. Again, you're not going to see this, but if you do, bless you, brother. But yeah, so that was the photographer experience. I go on now to speak on groomers online. Because there were other photographer experiences that I had, but there's kind of too many to really mention right now. I feel God wants me to shift onto this topic. So, again, like I said, I was posting my photos online to get recognized because this was the beginning of Instagram. This was the beginning of like models really being able to become recognized online instead of having to go to the agencies themselves or having to send their photos in and continue. Yeah, you get it. So I would have people reach out to me. I had one guy reach out to me asking for feet pics. It's like, oh, I bet your feet are so nice. People are so... You attract all kinds of people. But I had one person reach out to me saying that they were part of an agency, part of Elite Models in New York. And they were a casting director affiliated with them. And this person said, hey, we're going to do a Zoom call with you. We just need to see your measurements and we just need to see like how you move. And it sounded super legit, kind of like that Epstein ploy that she got into. And it sounded like, yeah, like finally somebody's going to see me and I'm going to get out of my hometown. I'm going to go model. So I do the Zoom call. Their camera is dark. And I'm like, hey, where are you? And they're like, oh, sorry, my camera isn't working. And again, they prey on your desire for success. They also prey on your naivety. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's fine. And then they had me strip down into my bra and underwear to like see my measurements because that's what modeling agencies do. Like that's just what they do. But then they're like, hey, can you take your top off for me? Because I need to see something so like we can really assess whether you would be good for our agency. Modeling agencies don't do this. I didn't know that because I've never worked with one until now. I did. And immediately I felt the conviction of something. And bop. I closed my laptop. And I knew I was being groomed. Like, at least I had the sense enough to know. I was probably about 17 then. So straight pedophile. I had another person, this woman, reach out to me on my Facebook page. It was not a woman. I don't even know. But I was kind of experimenting with my sexuality. I didn't know what I was at the time. So she's like, hey, like, I think you're super hot. Like, she's like, sending me photos of herself, and I'm like, this is so fucking weird. Why? I am a model. We were talking business. Why are you sending me photos of you? And then she's like, hey, do you want to see my boyfriend? She sent me this big black cock. And I'm just like, what? Like, she was, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. Like, I think I told her, I just like girls, man. That's what I said, because I'm just like, I don't like that. That's gross.
That's gross for any girl, even if you like guys. Trust us, no girl wants that.
Yeah.
Unless you ask for it, okay? Gosh, had a few of those in my DMs in the past.
I will say, I don't understand men out there. Men, okay, PSA. No woman wants a dick pic. It's weird. It's weird. It's just weird. Send them a poem. Write them a love letter. Don't send your member. It's weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that was the grooming that happened when I was underage. I think I probably had other people too. I had like college boys reaching out to me when I was underage, still trying to groom me. They were like seniors, and they're just like, okay. They knew I dabbled in modeling. They weren't good at it though, because I don't think they were predators. Bless their hearts. But yeah, that was like, actually, I feel called to share this one last thing. And it's because of the audacity of this man. I went to this shoot with my mom. My mom was there. I was changing in a dressing room. I was 17. I was changing in a dressing room. And this dressing room had like a little like window, you know, like it's like a high window and it's like really small, but it's like a rectangle at the top. So it had one of those. This dude was tall. Okay. I felt the creepy energy on him the moment I got there. And he was doing shoots on me with my longboard. It was nothing weird, sexual, or anything. But when I was changing, my mom was standing in front of the dressing room and she saw the dude. Like, he kept trying to like peek up. And she was right there. She was right there. I think he was kind of bad at being a predator or he just had no self-control whatsoever. But my mom saw it and she's like, this mother effer. Like, she had my back. But yeah, like, I will say in a nutshell, what I learned about this was like 10 years ago. Okay. So it could be completely different now. I know there's a lot more women photographers that women shoot with because people are waking up to weird crap. But if you did run into somebody like this, your morality is not worth subduing yourself for somebody that claims to have some kind of power over your future or career. If they are bringing a frequency that makes you feel uncomfortable, they're not for you. You don't have to do what they tell you to do. They're not going to help your career. They don't care about you. I promise you. No matter what they say, no matter what they give you, no matter what kind of gifts they shower you or compliments or external validation, they don't care. They just want to use you. If you want to get in this industry, hold out for somebody who you genuinely feel a resonance with and you feel a genuine connection with. Because if I were to do my career all over again, which maybe I will in the future, who knows what God wants to do, I would sit still, not be desperate. Desperation attracts flies, but it also pushes away the best opportunities that will actually make your career. Sit back. Be yourself, babe. Just be yourself. Shine. Work on yourself. And it will come. Hard work. Not hard work, but consistency. You don't need these nasty, creepy men telling you to take your tops off to make your career. You don't have to get naked to make a career. You really don't.
It's actually sad how many young girls have had that experience. Okay. They go into the industry going for a couple of auditions, what have you, get one or two, and then, it ends up being something very hectic. I would also say you never go on your own. You always make sure you've got a presence that at least is stronger than you for any of these auditions, and yet by the same token, even these high-end agencies, I mean, they're the creepiest of the lot because they're the ones that end up a lot of the time in cahoots with people like Epstein, because a lot of the models that actually come that were trafficked to people like Epstein and friends are actually from these high-end model agencies, a lot of them. So there's a lot of that goes hand in hand with a lot of things, You just have to be so, and I can imagine because you are completely 100% trading on your looks, and therefore I can imagine there are many times that you are viewed as a young woman as stock, like an object, and that's why I think, and what you were saying as well, is that nudity is normalized. It starts by just, okay, change in front of me. And then at the end of it, you're doing nude photo shoots. It kind of evolves into that. So I'd say that would be most certainly something that you don't ever do, right, as a young model.
Yeah.
Unless you're going into, I mean, I've read stories where these young girls, I mean, those Playboy bunnies, is that what they call Playboy bunnies, right? The two of Hefner's girls, the ones that have got a podcast now. I mean, I remember listening to them when they first started their podcast, and they were saying their whole life they've dreamed of becoming Playboy bunnies. That for them was like everything they aspired. That was like creme de la creme. I guess it depends what you like. But I don't for 1 second imagine that, especially if you're willingly going into that industry, they are not creeps 999% of the time. There must be a lot of that.
Yeah. I would probably argue with the people that have always had dreams for that. They've been programmed and they've been selected for that. That's a whole nother conversation that could get deeper.
Perfect.
But I was programmed and
Yeah.
selected to be in the position that I was in the satanic system. Because I was meant to be. But God took me out. Thank God. And now I get to be a walking testament for women, literally, for sexual abuse, for everything we're talking about here, and just like be this wealth of information to be like, hey, like, listen to my story and take the seeds and leave the chaff, please. Do what you will with it. But I pray that my story can just help people. And I know it will. But
I'd like to know, find out part of obviously modeling. I would imagine they start you locally and you do stuff there, especially earlier in the earlier years before social media was as rife as what it is. So you were traveling and you would then start traveling internationally as well. So maybe you can share with us that, because I would imagine that would have been a next step. And I don't know if you guys heard the interview I did with Juliet Bryant when she spoke about how, she met Epstein and Bill Gates, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, along with some South African dignitaries at a place in Cape Town, and of course did all the irrelevant love bombing, convinced her mother and everything. and had this whole beautiful Victoria's Secret modeling contract in store for her, that sort of thing. So off she was going. And my gosh, the minute that plane was off the ground, Epstein started his nonsense with her on that plane. Can you imagine? And I mean, literally, she said, I thought they were going to kill me. You can imagine as your reality crashes in as a young model on this private plane with Epstein, and he's got two assistants right there who are laughing while it's happening. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. I would imagine from that day onwards, your life changes quite dramatically. But I hope you didn't have any such experience, but nonetheless, maybe you want to share with us what your international experiences were like.
I mean, I would say it was fun. I'm not going to say that everything was horrible. Like that's something I also,
No, of course not.
As I share my story, like especially for any models who have been attracted to watching this and you want to model, like, or you want to act or get in the showbiz, like it's not all bad. You can definitely be a light in this industry, but you gotta have your wits about yourself, you know? So when I traveled, I went to Italy first. And my mother agent actually was using me so he could model again. Because my bookers in Milan, I was with Joy Model Management. I think they only do men now. I digress. They told me that Joshua was asking them, like, hey, do you need me? Like, do you need any men for Fashion Week? And they just thought that was the weirdest thing ever. Like, it's just like, he booked you here, but now he's trying to get in. Like, and that's all I heard about that. So, and later I switched from him, and he asked me to lie about a shoot that I did, and he asked me to tell this photographer that I thought his photos were ass. He asked me to tell this photographer that they were amazing and to kiss his ass because apparently he was this head honcho in Milan and he was this amazing, famous. I hated his work. And when he asked me to lie, I'm like, ew, gross, no. So I had a sense about myself, you know? I didn't want to sell myself, but I did little by little. That's how it works. You go into this industry and you're like, I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not going to compromise myself. You think selling your soul is signing a contract to the devil, right? Selling your soul is doing little tiny compromises along the way. Saying yes when you want to say no. Doing this when you want to do that. Cutting your hair like this when you don't like your hair like that. Because they're telling you to. In Greece, I didn't have too much of that micromanagement. That was more so in New York when I got to America and I worked in those markets. But in Greece, they were going through financial crisis. And I want to backtrack. I skipped over Italy because I was too skinny to work in Italy. So there wasn't really much activity that went there. I was very skinny. Italian market, they want girls with asses. They want girls with curves because Italians are curvy. So to sell to Italians, they can't have stick thin models on the runway because it's an Italian market. Does that make sense? So that's how these markets work. It's not necessarily based upon like, are you good enough? It's who is it going to sell to? So that's why I didn't really cover that too much. I was only there for a month. But Greece was amazing. It was so fun. There was oceans, everything. But it was very covert. Very covert. I think a lot of Greeks really loved what they do because they're very passionate people and they just love, like, whatever they aspire to do, they do it and they do it well. And they do it with joy and they do it with, let's go take a coffee and just, it's an experience. It's part of their life. And And that's why I stayed there for so long. I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about the Greek market. They were in financial crisis. I barely saw my money. What can you do? You know, it's like I got effed. I got screwed by Greece financially. But the experience was cool. I love the people. I love to work with the people I worked with. The designers were incredible. Some of them, granted, you have different personalities. Sometimes you get treated like absolute dog crap at a shoot. Something I wanted to say is what happens with people with egos when they get around beautiful people that are at the mercy of them because they are hired to work for them. What happens when you get an insecure makeup artist who hates themselves and they have to do your makeup and you're this beautiful 21-year-old model, super perfect body, everything? What do you think they do? I've gotten bullied by so many people in the industry. I have gotten shafted by designers. I've gotten shafted by makeup artists because they got insecure and they like to project their hatred of themselves onto the models. And that is what they do in the industry. Not everybody, but it happens. And it's like this type of abuse that models have to put up with, and nobody does anything about it. They don't do anything about it. And it's the type of stuff that it helped me develop very thick skin. But at the same time, you take a 14-year-old girl who just got invited into modeling and she's super tall, perfect for Runway. Like, she's pristine, working so well, but she's making money off of her looks. Somebody gets insecure, they have a bad day. They rip her apart. That girl is scarred until she heals. But how does she know she has to heal? Because she's told, hey, this is your livelihood. This is your job. So it's like the emotional abuse and the mental abuse that I've encountered at different shoots in Greece, in every market that I've worked in, is pretty extensive, and it sucks and it shouldn't happen. I know there's a lot of models that got together in a model union. They're trying to create some type of union for models so that they're protected, so that they get fair pay, they don't get shafted with their pay, and they actually have rights. Like, they want like an HR for models. When it comes to like HR and jobs, you know, like if you get sexually harassed in a job, you can go to HR and the person gets implemented. They don't have that in modeling. They don't care. As long as you're making the job and you're impressing the people that need to be impressed. And if the photographer sticks his hand up you, but he's shooting for Vogue, baby, you better just let him do it. Because if you don't, he'll ruin your freaking career. These famous models that you see, like Bella Hadid, she's a puppet. Yo, y'all think she's she's gorgeous. Guarantee you her life is not hers. These famous people who are huge celebrities, they are puppets. I have such a heart for them because they went in like I did, trying to make big dreams. They get sold these dreams, but they do little compromises along the way. They sell themselves a little bit along the way. Oh, plastic surgery. Oh, you got to do this, change this. Oh, wait, no, don't ever act like that ever again in front of anybody. Because the higher you go, the more managed you are. I didn't experience this type of management, but I saw it. And I started feeling
perfect sense.
Yes. And that's
it makes a lot of sense, because especially when they are affiliated to brands, right? I mean, if you're looking, for example, at the Kardashians, who have got these brand deals with, what was that one? The one with the kids that had that big furore going on, I forget now. But they are all, you know, it's like that brand, let's say they have a deal for a year to wear their evening gear or whatever. I mean, they've got to really almost become that character, right? That they of the brand that they represent. And I guess then for every time they do it, it would be it's acting. It would be something different, right? You take on the essence of the brand who you are walking for or promoting. I don't know what you girls call it, but it's crazy. It makes a lot of, and absolutely we know about it may the it, those girls at the top are obviously, it's so clear to me that they are puppeteered. It's blatantly obvious. You can just see. Yes, I know you. Obviously, when you're walking the red carpet, you've got to get into what I would call model mode, and do the walk and keep the look and what have you, right? But I think when you're doing it so much all the time, you have no option but to become that. You don't even know who you are afterwards.
You make a really good point right there, and that's going to lead into something very beautiful. That's a very big part of my story that I noticed, like you said, because you put on all these different clothes from all these different people, like all these different styles, you lose your own style. Because models when you're casting are all black. Yes. They wear all black. So to go to castings, you're always wearing black. Because it's so easy and you travel around the world. So like, let's just buy black clothes. It's easy. Small suitcase. But I noticed within myself that it was especially when I got to New York, that was when it really happened. I lost myself completely because I just didn't know what I liked. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know. I kind of became just like a programmed product of the industry. And that's what a lot of these models become. I did mention to you my friend Diego. I will not say his last name because he's kind of famous, or maybe I could. I don't know. I don't know why I protect these people. I think I just do because I protect their honor. Diego, he's from Spain. He walked for Fenty Puma. When I first met him, backtrack, straight dude. Liked girls. Talk about, oh, this girl is so hot. Like, I want to talk to her. I'm kind of shy. Like, he was that, like, little. I saw his inner child. Okay. And that's who I connected with. And that's why we were friends. But then he walks for Puma. I was so happy he walked for Puma. But when I met up with him again in New York, because I met him in Milan, he was so different. So different. Like, the Diego I loved was not there. And he was just this, like, I don't even know what it was. His photography went from being like beautiful. Beautiful photographer. He did photos of me and it was gorgeous photos. But the photos we did in New York were very different. The energy around it was very different. He would do a lot of drag photos, not saying anything wrong with drag or anything wrong with like the LGBTQ community at all. But what I'm saying is he was straight and then he wasn't. You got to sacrifice some things. And that was for Rihanna that he walked for, mind you. I bet all of y'all can put together all of those pieces.
I was going to say, isn't Fendi Rihanna? Because that would make a lot of sense as to why you had that complete switch.
Yeah.
You know, there's the way I've seen and I've noticed the system work, obviously. Their main objective is to draw people in. They don't really care where they come from. They've just got to draw people in. So if you are drawing people into your clan, and if you're going to be walking for me, Rihanna, or being my photographer or whatever, come to the party. You know what it entails. Pretty much.
And that's the crazy part. The party, I went, like, man, when you're a model in New York City, you get in everywhere. Like, everything is free. Everything is free. It's dangerous because you can have access to things that are not good for you at all. I never went to one of those parties, but I went to a lot of after parties from Runway shows, and everybody's drinking there, and all of the big designers, it's the connection place. That's where you go to make your connections, to siphon off of people's success so you can climb the ladder, and then you can step on their heads and faces and then knock them down, and then you come up. That's how the industry works, man. It sucks. It doesn't have to. You don't have to do it that way. But a lot of people do, because you'll see people as like a product. And like, I don't know, man. It's its own thing. Fashion brings drama. Fashionistas love drama. They love theater. They love to make everything just extravagant.
That's exactly it.
Yes.
That's exactly it. It's like what I was saying earlier. It makes so much sense, and I've never really thought about it in that way until we're having our conversation. Just like actors and actresses, right? You get to play a different role once or twice a year, and you really, with some of these strong roles, a lot of those actors really spend months taking on the role or learning the language or whatever it is. I might not say that fashion is as intense as that, but I can imagine when you are walking for a lot of shows, you're wearing beautiful designer clothing, you all the time, different designs, different this, different that, different clothing. It is taking on that persona, the glitz, the glam, the parties. You are the product. You are the product, not the clothes. The clothing is not the product. The clothing needs a product for which it can exhibit itself. You are the product for their clothing. And as long as you look good in the clothing, they don't give a rat's backside who you are or where you came from, as long as you are serving their purpose.
Exactly.
Wow.
I will say that there are some designers that have beautiful clothing, like beautiful clothes. Like there are some designers who, like, I'm not shitting on the fashion industry at all in total. There are some beautiful, talented people in it. But like you said, certain designers you walk for, you take on that energy, you take on the frequency of what they exhibit because you're wearing their parts of their soul that they literally created. And yeah, it's crazy. I think about some shoots that I did that I think there was one that I did that involved a rosary, and it got really weird. And I mean, just like movies in Hollywood, there's different entities that operate on different shoots. And different entities will come. Oh, yeah. That's another thing with modeling. Okay. I did this because when you model, it's like something takes you over. So whatever you're modeling, a different persona takes you over.
Yes.
I could turn it on, turn it off, like that. And it was like this very like spectacle, very like that. And it was like, you'll hear a lot of other models say this, that the person that they are in front of the camera is nothing like the person that they really are in real life. at all. Yeah. So different things will puppet models, especially if the models are on drugs, or especially if they're super open or they've been very programmed. Like, look at stages with singers and stuff.
Wow.
Something takes them over. So, like, again, if you're to get into this industry, be very cognizant of how you move and your intentions and why you shoot, why you move the way that you move. Practice your posing. Practice your posing. Some of the best models practice their posing. And that way, something can't take them over because they know what they're doing. Ish. Now, just be cognizant, I guess. And if you know God, if
It's
you...
so...
I was going to say, if you know God,
so...
something bigger than yourself, move with that first.
Right. So interesting, because we also know, we've heard, as a person that has no connection to modeling whatsoever, we often hear about the drugs, that the amount of drugs that the models take, and often heard about, especially in South Africa, young models going overseas and coming back and absolutely getting hooked on drugs. That became one of the common things that happened when we started going international a few years back. And exactly that, you're taking on different personas with different shows, different clothing, different designers. And when we're looking at all these different designers, they are all, a lot of them, the main ones, are connected to some cult or the other, right? Mm-hmm. That's oftentimes what happens. So you got to think about it like that, how the entities then would work through the clothing, the designers, because they want their stuff sold. So they obviously want the best model that's going to sell their stuff. And that's amazing for me, because then how that energy works and what they do to manipulate the models to take on those personas. Drugs, alcohol, of course, would be a big one, because that's how they become pliable. So, and as you say, it's like Beyonce had that famous interview with Oprah once, and where she spoke about where she becomes Sasha Fierce on stage. And behind the scene, she's this very demure, shy young girl, right? Or woman. And it's what you're saying. The minute you put this clothing on, you kind of take on that alter ego and walk that runway and strut your stuff in exactly that way. So it really does open doors for a lot of things. At what point in your career did you become involved with the Warlock? I'd be interested, I'm asking, because I'm interested to know how far down the line, because there were doors being opened all the time, no doubt, mm-hmm. right? So how far down the line before that took that level of darkness, took a grip on you?
It was pretty... I was 20 when I met him. Four years. But I didn't start doing like the nude stuff and working with sketchy individuals until I was probably 18. Obviously, because they won't shoot you like that unless you're 18. But yeah, I was, already a pretty wild child to begin with, because I had my own stuff from childhood that I was running from and numbing. But yeah, I answer question. Or do you want me to elaborate more?
No. I'm good. I'm good with that. Wow. So, and through that, you obviously worked through your drug addiction. How did you get out of the modeling industry? At what point, what took you out of it? When did you realize this was not your cup of tea?
It's actually a very beautiful story. It's very beautiful. And I wouldn't call myself a Christian. I definitely believe in Yeshua and what he's done. And it's just relationship, man. It's totally just relationship. That is why. He is why. Yeshua is why. I was living in, hold on, I gotta adjust. We're shifting. I was living in an apartment on Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn with my ex, who was a rapper, and we were tripping on acid every day. I was getting into witchcraft, darker, deeper. I was seeing demons, and I thought I was the shit. And it was this one acid trip. And now I know a lot of people will say it's because you were on drugs you saw this. Dude, I swear, psychedelics allow you to see what's actually always been there. It's not hallucinations. You tap into something different. I was in the mirror and I saw something in me, and it was laughing at me. I could hear it, and I was bulimic again. Bulimia came back into my life, and that was what was laughing at me. And I was looking at my face. They say don't look at your face when you're on acid, but I did. Everything was contorted. I felt like I looked so old, but it was the spirit I was seeing in me. It was that decrepit, life-sucking spirit, that succubus spirit that I saw. And it scared me enough to wake up and realize, holy crap, demons are real. And I'm just like,
yep.
Sitting with that in an acid trip is pretty crazy. Like, yeah. After that day, I started praying to God, because I'm like, if demons are real, God's real. It's gotta be real, because dang, if there's this evil that I just saw laugh at my face for making me throw up, there's gotta be something good, and I want to know how good that good is, because I don't want this darkness anymore. I was tired and I was sick of it, and I was drowning. And then I had this girl that I modeled with. She actually messaged me maybe like within a week of this happening. And she said, hey, I had a dream about you. I saw this. Are you okay? And she just said, if you take anything from this, I just want you to know that God is real, Yeshua is real, and he loves you so much. I got it confirmed. And because she's the kind of person that God would know that I know does not bullcrap. She does not just say stuff. She's very intentional. So he chose the right person to tell me. Because my stubborn mind at that time was like, I don't think you should believe in that programming. It's just created to control people. Religion, yes. Not this. Relationship is not created to control people.
Yeah, exactly.
But so then I just started like going for runs again. And there was this one run I was on. I was going down Eastern Parkway. Super sketchy midsection streets, but regardless, I saw this cross in the sky. And it was like this perfect cross, and it was like light. And I just felt this resonance just come, and I was like, whoa, dang, confirmation again, holy crap. And then it was like he was reeling me back in. And I had this point with a roommate of mine where I don't know what happened. It was just something that was the last straw over something so stupid. And I decided I want to go home. Because I was so done. I was so tired of living that life. It was like my dream to be a model, my desire to be a model, like my want for freedom outweighed. It greatly outweighed my desire to be a model. Because like when you get into such a darkness within your own soul and you feel it and then you begin to see it manifest and you don't listen, then bro, you're on the way to death. Like that's death knocking at your door. So
Right.
I came home to Michigan and I didn't go back. And I went to a music festival. At the music festival, I got trashed on drugs, but God used me being trashed on drugs to open my eyes to the spiritual activity of the people that I thought were my friends and the spiritual activity of what was happening at these festivals and how they're siphoning and harvesting energy. And I felt it. I almost died at this festival because I was getting siphoned. Like I was on peyote, acid, mescaline, everything because I didn't want to feel, because I came off of that and then I'm coming into this and quitting modeling, all of this. And the Warlock died during the music festival and I felt his weird butt around me. I felt him peeking. And my friend, he supersedes and God moves through him. I don't think he knew what he was doing. And he breathed into this center. And I saw every single center light up and all of my energy came back and I did not die. So after all of this cooter, effery, this crazy stuff that happened, it was like movie status. I came home and I accepted God fully into my heart and Yeshua. I accepted him fully into my heart. And I'm just like, I don't want this. I made my declaration. I'd made my intention known in the spirit. And I feel to elaborate a little bit more on this, if that's okay, as what I felt after I said yes and I said no to what I was playing with. So what happens when you start to look out of this? Maybe not everybody, but this was my experience, okay? I would feel this, like, I felt this presence around me. It was like protecting me. But these things kept, like, I would feel things touch me at night. I would wake up. There was one time I was dreaming of this something. And I woke up and there was this growl that came out of my mouth. It was like, roar. And it woke me up. I'm like, what is this? So God brought me into Psalms and he had me pray Psalms over myself. I would read Psalms all the time. I didn't even know what I was doing. But apparently reading the Psalms helped make that stuff stop. Because when you are, I was promised to Satan by my great grandma. Because she did some spell casting and she sacrificed me. When you are promised to the enemy, or you are involved in any kind of witchcraft or any of this stuff, and you choose a different side, that side is not going to leave you without fight. I have had a fight for my life to get my identity back, and now I'm fully in it. I see it, and I'm walking in it. And this is 2016, I quit. 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5. 8 years, 9 years that it's been. And I'm now here. And from all of the sacrificing my identity, sacrificing little compromises, selling my soul little by little to these demonic entities along the way, because that's what it is. When we say yes, when we want to say no, we allow something in because of that compromise. It says in the Bible, let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. That's a command. That's authenticity. God's just telling you to be authentic to yourself. Because when you're not, you follow the wrong frequency. And then the lower frequencies come in. And then they corrupt you. And then you got to go on a whole journey that I did to find your identity again. It's not fun.
It's so true.
It's not.
It's so true. And it starts with let your yes be yes and your no be no. Yes. That's for sure. That's setting your boundary. And once your boundary is set, then you can walk in integrity. Very true. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Super interesting.
Yeah.
And here you are now.
Yep.
So, is there anything you want to share with us? Oopsie, there, my...
Your video went away. There you go. Hello.
my video is very temperamental lately. So, is there anything you can share with us as we start closing off, just in terms of what you've learned from your experiences, and yeah, where are you at now in terms of all of that?
I mean, I don't regret anything I've been through. I can say that 100%. As much as I warn people, I don't regret what I went through because, like, yeah, girl likes to learn through experience. Doesn't have to be like how much anymore. But, you know, I like to say I took the hits so that other people don't have to. But yeah, I used to be this really shy, timid person that was terrified to be my real self. And through everything I've been through, little by little, that was torn off of me. Because, like, you travel by yourself, you have to get out of your shell. You have to, or else you're not going to make it. You're going to get eaten alive. So I did that. And just the wisdom and insight that I have now on people, the ability to just see right through people. It's crazy. It's nice. It wasn't supposed to be this way. That I had to be here through that. Like, it wasn't supposed to, but maybe it was. Maybe it's exactly what I needed in order to become the person that I am. And I feel like that's a war that a lot of people will have within themselves. So the things that they go through, the things that they've had to go through, or the things that happened to them that weren't even their fault. They'll walk away with like this like, oh, I can't believe they did this to me. I can't believe this happened. Like, life, people are just so bad. Like, this world is so dark. Like, how many people have that mentality these days, you know? And it's like, the longer I sat in that, the crappier my crappy diaper got. Because if you sit in a crappy diaper and you just mope in it, and you look at all these people and everything that they did to you, and you're just like, oh, but you're not getting up to clean yourself, and you got to keep going to the bathroom. So you keep defecating in your crappy diaper and just keeps going a cycle, and you're in your crap. And the very fertilizer that you're sitting in is the fertilizer that's meant to help you ascend, but instead you're looking at the fertilizer. It's meant to help you, but look up. I learned to look up through every situation, because as us humans, we can have such hate in our hearts at times, especially for those of us who have been wronged much. And I don't always say hate. I just mean like more so disdain, like a disdain towards people, kind of like a mistrust towards people, a mistrust towards life. And, you know, that will continue to grow if you keep festering in that. And that's what I had to learn. I had chronic pain all over my body, guys. Like, that comes from festering in your pain, in playing victim. And like, I'm not crapping on anybody who has pain, because it's real. Like, feel it. Please feel it. But take responsibility for it. That's the biggest thing. Taking full responsibility for yourself and your pain and what wounds were left from other people's doing, and understanding that they inflicted that upon you because they had something in them that was not filled with light. And, you know, we just bleed on each other if we don't tend to ourselves. And through this whole thing, I learned how vitally important for our survival it is to constantly be tending to your inner world, because then you don't bleed on other people. Then when God sends the right people into your life, and they're supposed to be gifts because now you're at a frequency where you're attracting them, then you're going to be a gift and you're going to be a blessing to them. But I also learned to have so much grace that through, like with SRA, through sexual abuse, through drugs, all of it, like witchcraft, everything, I've had to sit myself down in times of feeling like the echoes of my past and just be like, hey, babe, I get it. You know, you see those people, they look super healthy over there. And you're over here in so much pain, doing the same thing they are. They're progressing faster than you. But you need to remember, you have gone through a battle that has equipped you for something that takes a little longer to stand in. Maybe they haven't had to go through that battle because maybe they were signed up for a life that's chill. Maybe their life isn't chill. You don't know. Maybe they have yet to go through things to learn. That's not my business. That's not my problem. But I bless them and I'm grateful that they're having a great life. But then I look at myself and I'm just like, you know what? Just because there's a little extra weight for you to carry right now doesn't mean that you're weaker. It means that when that weight is completely integrated and released, baby, you've been working out with a weighted vest. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
it's like if
take it off now. It's like, take off the vest now. Your muscles are strong.
Yeah. But it's like
Yeah.
we need, I think, in a way, the victimhood and like the sensations, because any survivors will understand what I'm saying when I say that. It can be painful in our bodies because our cells remember things that have happened to us. But when those things come and we're just sitting in it and it sometimes screams in our face and all we want to do is just run away, but we can't because it's in our body. Those are the moments where we get to learn to love ourselves, because those are the echoes of the pain that other people caused upon us that we never learned to listen to. And it's screaming for us to look at. And all we got to do is just be like, hey, I see you. What's going on? Yeah, that sucks.
Exactly.
And be okay with not being okay.
That's so true. Be okay with not being okay. Every day is not a day that we feel fabulous, and just be okay with not being okay on the day that you don't feel okay, because tomorrow you're going to feel beyond okay again.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie, thank you so much for sharing with us again this evening. I really, really, really appreciate your vulnerability, your testimony, and your sharing. And I know that so many young people have gotten caught up in this debauch situation. And I know that a lot of advice you've offered, information you've given, is definitely so valuable. Maintain your integrity, maintain your sovereignty. You do not take your clothes off for anyone at all. And yeah, wow, just stay safe out there. What can I say? Any closing words from you before we say goodbye to you this evening?
Yeah, if you guys would be down, I wouldn't mind praying us out, if that's cool. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeshua, I just thank you so much for this time that we've been able to have together. I thank you for Shanti. I thank you for this show. I thank you for just bringing everybody together that needs to be here to hear the words that were spoken through you. I seal this in the blood, and I just speak joy. God's really been on joy a lot lately. I just speak joy over the whole audience and everybody's that is going to watch this. I release joy to you, and I just release that anything within your hearts that is bringing you pain that's taking your attention away from just joy, away from enjoying life like you're supposed to, that it would be removed, and you would see a different perspective of yourself through it. And that if it isn't removed, that you would begin to learn from it until you no longer need it anymore. I really
Beautiful.
struggle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I'm done.
I'm so sorry. I thought you said amen. My gosh, I
You're
interrupted you there.
okay.
How rude.
You're okay.
Internet.
We'll
Thank
blame
you
it on
so
the
much.
okay.
Yeah, gosh. Ellie, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate your sharing your last bit, final bit, and it's never a final bit, but where you're at. And, you know, again, just the healing power of sharing and speaking, and, you know, how speaking sets you free. The truth really does set us free. It does something beautiful. It allows us to speak, and gosh, so many people in this world have not been believed, right? And just to be believed in these instances is very liberating for a lot of people. Truth really is setting us free. So thank you again. And thank you to all our beautiful gang here on Aquarius Rising Africa. It was tea, I promise. On Aquarius Rising Africa. Guys, I so appreciate you sharing your Monday with me. It is Monday evening here. And wow, we've definitely chilling the internet pathways as well, because it definitely seems like the internet pathways are being compromised. Anyway, guys, God bless you all. I will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock Central African time with Beverly Rhodes, and she'll be speaking to me from the US. She would have just arrived. However, I must just say, I did say to her, if she's feeling any form of jet lag, she's welcome to cancel at the last minute. So if I do cancel Beverly's show tomorrow at the last minute, it'll be because she has jet lag. But otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Yay. Take good care, everybody.
Thank you, Shanti.
And just have fun out there. And you, Ellie, stay cool, stay kind, stay yogi. Goodbye.
Yeah.